All right, hello everyone. Next up we have Neall Alcott. He's going to be walking you through how to modernize your PMO processes.
All right. So, we ready to go, Jason?
Yes, you can go.
All right, great. So, hi everybody. My name is Neall Alcott. As Jason mentioned, my session is going to be about how to automate your PMO processes using the Power Platform. Again, thanks for attending the M365 Philly virtual event. Thanks again to our sponsors, the Tri-State Office 365 Group, Soho Dragon, and the Tech Platform. And let's get started. I have a lot to cover in just 50 minutes or so, but feel free to ask questions as I go through this. Quick introduction of myself. I'm a senior solutions architect at Marquee 360. We're a gold Microsoft project and portfolio management partner, and we're also gold in collaboration and also cloud productivity. As far as Microsoft Project and the project management solutions provided by Microsoft, I've been working in that space for too long. It's about 20 years at this point. But I've been on the Product Advisory Council, basically allow me to work directly with the engineering team to tell them what works best with some of the Microsoft products and maybe what's not working so great, or what are some of the wish lists from the different customers. But again, I've done hundreds of deployments of both, project, Power Platform nowadays, and then also SharePoint. So been around the block quite a bit and seen a lot of different business processes that customers want to automate. Okay, and when we talk about what Marquee 360 does, is we really primarily focus on 3 platforms. So Project Online, or nowadays Project for the Web. I want to talk about the differences between the 2 of those. Microsoft Teams. Thanks to COVID, we're all heavily using Microsoft Teams at this point. And then also SharePoint. Okay, so they're kind of the main 3 platforms that we specialize in. But the one thing we really do quite a bit nowadays is use the Power Platform to then interconnect these different products and services to meet whatever your process needs might be. Okay, so we'll leverage Power Apps as your user interface to collect information for that process. We use Power Automate, or formerly known as Microsoft Flow, in order to automate whatever that process might be, reviews, approvals, maybe data integrations with other systems. And of course, we leverage Power BI to take all that data that we're collecting and then visualize it. So in today's session, what I want to focus in on is how do we use these capabilities in these different platforms to help automate your PMO processes. So your PMO, your project management office, that's usually a group of individuals, project managers, business analysts, that are managing projects within the organization. And traditionally, with, say, Project Server and SharePoint, we had some capabilities to do automation. So we had some workflow capabilities, but wasn't really that robust. But with the Power Platform, we have a lot of different options, which again, really helps you extend and fully modernize whatever that process might be. So we're going to look at that. We're going to look at an overview of the product family from Microsoft. Just things have been changing a little bit, so I just want to make sure I level set with that. And then we'll take a look at, all right, well, how do we use the Power Platform to interconnect all these different capabilities? So first, let's just do a quick overview of the Microsoft project family. So when it comes to project management, Microsoft actually has several different options for you. Starting at the very basics all the way to the more advanced enterprise level PMO capabilities. So for your basic kind of everyday worker, everyday task management, you have Planner, which you can leverage either directly as an app within Office 365, or you can leverage it within Microsoft Teams. And what Planner gives you is a very simple Kanban board style drag and drop way of managing your task and providing the rest of your team with updates. So you can say I've started something, or maybe I've completed a task. But again, very light. It's not meant for full-blown project management. It's a very simple interface. The new player on the block is what's called Project for the Web. So one of the things that Microsoft's been doing over the past couple of years is they're reinventing Microsoft Project. So Project for the Web is, at least in this first iteration, it's kind of like Planner, but it does give you a lot of other capabilities, and it's in a more modern, kind of robust graphical interface. Does not have all the complexities that you would typically find with Microsoft Project. And that's because it's not really meant to replace Microsoft Project today. It's really meant for maybe your occasional project managers, or maybe if you're a team lead, you want to be able to manage a set of tasks in a very simple, easy to use interface. But you do need more capabilities than what Planner would provide. So maybe you want some task dependencies. You also want Kanban board style updates, and you need to see a Gantt chart kind of timeline view. So Project for the Web provides that. Now, from a licensing perspective, Planner is included in your Office 365 licensing. But when you get to Project for the Web, there's a license called Project Plan 1. So when you see Plan 1, we're talking Project for the Web. Taking it up a notch, when we get up to what an enterprise PMO may need, we get into what's called Plan 3 or Plan 5, and that utilizes Project Online. So Project Online runs in Office 365 as an add-on service. It's based on top of SharePoint, but it gives you a full set of capabilities to help a PMO. So for example, you'll be able to do schedule management, you'll be able to do resource management, demand and capacity, timesheets, you'll have a full set of reporting capabilities, collaboration, all that capability is built into Project Online. Okay. Now, depending on what your needs are, you can pick any of these tools, and then we can leverage the Power Platform to then automate those. And that's part of what I'm going to be showing you today. So in this session, we're going to take a look at Project for the Web and how does it work with the Power Platform. It's actually built on top of the Power Platform, which is kind of interesting. It's not built on top of SharePoint or any other Microsoft services. And then we have, I'm going to go through a project request business case submittal process. I'm going to do that for Project for the Web, and I'm also going to do that for Project Online so that you can kind of see the differences between the two. When we go through that project request process and we approve the request, I'm going to do some integration with Microsoft Teams and Planner so that it automatically creates a Microsoft team for your project. And in the case of Project Online, we'll synchronize tasks over to Planner. So that's my plan. It's a lot to cover in 50 minutes, but we'll see how far we get. But again, all this capability is available today because of the Power Platform. In the past, it would have been very difficult or custom coding to do a lot of this. So from an overview of this process that I'm describing, again, we'll have a Power App where we'll submit a project request or a business case. I'm going to do it in two different ways. I'm going to do one that's a Canvas app that'll interface with Project Online. And I'm going to do another one that's using a model-driven app so you can then communicate with Project for the Web and Microsoft Teams. When those requests come in, we're going to use Power Automate to create the projects. So either create it over in Project Online or create it in Project for the Web. And then we're also going to automatically create a Microsoft team. So you'll be able to use the team for collaboration and communications. You'll be able to use one of the project tools to manage the task, manage the project team, get your reporting, all that fun stuff. Okay, so keep moving on here. Oh, all right, I got to shut up and demo now. So let me switch to my browser here. And first thing we'll take a look at is Project for the Web. So again, Project for the Web, at least with this current iteration of it, is geared more towards the occasional PM basic task management. So for example, if I go into here, I look at some different projects. For example, I'll just go into this one real quick. You can see in here we have a basic task list where I can go in. I could say, you know, I want to deploy the system. I'm going to assign this to someone in my organization. And I could say, how long is this going to take? So maybe it's 15 days. When do I want it to start? Et cetera, right? So as I put this information in, it'll still do calculations of date times and things like that, just like Microsoft Project would. But again, this is a much easy to use, you know, modern interface. If I want to add some additional columns, I have that capability here. If I want to do some quasi-agile type project management or task management, just like in Planner, if I go to the board view here, I have a Kanban board where I could set up, in this case, a backlog, and I have different sprints. And if I want to drag and drop and move these tasks around, I could easily do that. And then I also have a timeline view. So if I want to look at it more from that more traditional Gantt chart point of view, I can use the timeline view and zoom in, look at my different tasks, zoom in or zoom out. And then if I want to link any task up, you'll see here that I can just grab it, drag it, connect, and link the task up, and then it'll adjust the schedule on the fly. Or if I want to shorten a task, I can just grab it, drag and drop it, move it around. Okay. So again, modern interface, you know, very easy to use. Doesn't fight you as much of, you know, the traditional Microsoft Project solution would. But you know, it's really geared towards, you know, easy, lightweight project management. Now, this is built on top of the Power Platform. And what that simply means is if I were to go into Power Apps, I can build a solution that leverages Project for the Web and includes that capability within a larger, Power App capability. So for example, here I have a model-driven Power App. It's using some of the capabilities for Project for the Web, but I've also gone in and I've added a bunch of additional capabilities. So for example, here I have project requests. So as project requests are submitted into the system, we can monitor that and take them through whatever approvals they need to go through. And then down here, I could have a portfolio view of all my projects. And these are projects that are Project for the Web projects. So you can see I can have graphical indicators and, you know, different bits of information I want to display in these views as well. So one of the first things I want to show here is we're going to create a project request in this model-driven app, and then we're going to route it through an approval process. So I'm going to go into here. Give it a name. You can see I have other fields here collecting information about that particular request. Same thing if I go to this other tab, we have some project details information. What's our desired go live date? We could collect project financials as well if we wanted to. In this case, I'm going to keep it pretty simple. We're just going to go in, specify who the project sponsor is. I'm going to pick myself for that. What type of request is it? So part of our automation could be that we have standardized these different project types so that when that project actually gets created in the system, it'll then turn around and utilize whatever our standards are. So maybe we have a certain schedule template, maybe we have different workflows and approval processes that'll be part of that. We would have that all set up. And I'm going to say I'm ready to submit this for approval. So I'm going to go ahead and hit save and close. All right, so while that is processing, I should get an email any minute now. This is the longest part of the demo. It's waiting for the email to show up. But as soon as I get that email, I'll put it up on the screen here. All right, email just popped in. So let me open that up. So here you can see we're using Power Automate to submit that particular request for whatever review and approval process we want to go through. So here you can see there's our request name, a link back to our model-driven Power App. So if we wanted to review what was actually submitted, and then we could either approve it, reject it, maybe we need more info, maybe it's approved but it's deferred to start at a later date. We can have different options here. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and approve it. And it's going to submit it. So the flow that we have for this is going to do a few different things. One is it's going to automatically go and create a project within Project for the Web. So we'll see it show up in this area here within the model-driven app. Also, it's going to go and create a Microsoft team automatically. And the way we're doing that is we're communicating with the Microsoft Graph. So we're in the background communicating with the Graph, telling it that we need to create a Microsoft team. This is the team name. These are the team members. This is the team owner. All of that set up, including what tabs would be loaded automatically in the team, is being controlled through that flow automation. All right. So I'm going to jump over here into my Teams view. And there you can see our Microsoft team got created. And if I click on the General tab here, you can see we have our team. And when I click on Project Details, as long as the project's finished being created, yep, it has. So now we're looking at our project here in Teams. And this is a model-driven app that's added additional functionality compared to what you would normally do with Project for the Web. So as I showed you in the earlier demo, Project for the Web today is strictly for light task management. But using the Power Platform, I can add additional capabilities here. So for example, if I want to go in and set Kpi statuses to track, my portfolio and how the project's doing, I could easily do that. If I go to task, this will show me that task view that we were just looking at when I built out that earlier task list. So I can go into here, start creating my task. I don't have enough time to get too creative here. Who it's going to be assigned to. And then down here, I can assign it to other users. And so forth and so on. So I could build out the schedule just like I showed you earlier. But in this Power App, we also have other capabilities like managing action items, or maybe we have an issue log, a risk log, change request log. So other capabilities that, maybe you would leverage Project Online to do that. You can actually leverage the Power Platform to add those capabilities to Project for the Web. And you're going to do that through Power Apps, and then you're also going to use that through a Power Automation capability. All right. And then up top here, you can see if we want to manage as it goes through the different phases, stages, and gates that we might have, I could utilize this capability. All right. So that's using Project for the Web. Using Power Automate underneath that to automate some of the things that we would want to happen when a new project gets requested and eventually gets approved for. Now let's take a look at this utilizing Project Online as well, right? So again, Project Online is more the enterprise level PMO capability. So it has a lot more than what Project for the Web has today. So what I'm going to do here is jump into Project Online. And in this case, we're going to create another request, but we're going to use a Canvas app. All right, so a different type of Power App, but similar functionality. So here we can go in, give it a name, who's my sponsor, what type of request it is. So again, that request type capability is when we do our automation, we're going to want to set up the projects so that they're standardized. They have schedule templates. In the case of Project Online, what SharePoint site template is it going to use? What governance workflow is it going to use? All those capabilities. In this case, I'm just going to say it's an IT project. And I could fill out the other fields inside the Canvas app. I could also attach files if I want and route those through the automation. In this case, I'm going to keep it simple, and we're just going to go ahead and save this and submit it. Now, for that Canvas app, I was using a SharePoint list form. Okay, so it's not necessarily a standalone Power App, but I'm leveraging it as a list form so that in the back end, it's all being stored in a SharePoint list. So I can go into the list, get an idea of where all those requests are, where are they within the process. All right. Now let me check my email, because again, we should get an email notification that that task is coming in or that request is coming in. Again, while we're waiting for that, if anybody has any questions, feel free to shoot away. All right, so here's our email. Similar to before, but in this case, we just have either approve or reject. I'm going to go ahead and approve it. And it's going to go through a similar workflow integrating with Microsoft Teams. But with this, we're actually going to integrate with Planner as well. So if I go back to the homepage of Project Online, I go into what's called the Project Center. The Project Center will give you a portfolio view of all the projects that you have in your environment. And it is security trim, so depending on who you are, what your role is, you may or may not see all these projects. But again, part of that automation here is it's going to go and it's going to automatically create that project for us. So down here, you can see it's created our M365 Philly Demo 2 project. Okay, so let me open this project up. And we're going to do a couple different things here. One is we're going to staff the project with the team members that we need. And then we're also going to synchronize this with Teams and Planner. But I also want to show you how we can use Power Automate to manage a gate approval process. So for example, this project right here is currently in the initiation phase. And if the PM were to check out this project, my resolution's off a little bit here. Set that back. There we go. So if I check out that project here, and if I were to hit submit, so you see this workflow area, if I were to hit submit, that means I'm trying to submit it for that gate approval. But if our governance process is set up and it says to move from the initiation phase to the planning phase, you need to complete certain things. Well, this is enforcing that. So it's saying you can't because you haven't completed your business case yet. And you also haven't completed your strategic impact assessment. So I need to do these before I'll be allowed to move into that next phase. So I'm going to go ahead and click on business case. Here you can see our total cost and total benefits are required. So I got to fill in a value for these. And I'm going to go ahead and save it. You'll see it'll calculate ROI. Now, if I go back and click on the project name, it'll take us back to our workflow view. And down here, for each one of those items that are active in our initiation phase, we can see what its current status is. So now the business case is complete, but you can see down here, strategic impact is still incomplete. So I'm going to fill out strategic impact assessment real quick. Strategic impact assessment is part of your prioritization process. So if you want to rank your projects from very important to least important projects, this survey is a key part of that. So in the survey, you have your different business drivers, and then the PM, maybe the project sponsor, the business analyst, they would fill out how does this align with that particular business driver. The results of this will award so many points to the project. We're not going to go through the prioritization capability, but it is required in our workflow, so I'm just showing you it right now. All right, so now our project has been updated. You can see everything is completed. So now if I go and submit it for workflow approval, over here you can see it's kicking off the workflow. And again, we're going to leverage Power Automate to notify whoever's responsible to review this project that it's ready for gate approval to move into planning. And then if they approve it, you'll see how it tells Project Online, all right, progress that project to the next phase. So let me go back to my email real quick. Should be here any second.
While you're waiting for that to load, we have a question in the chat. The question is Project for the Web the modern evolution of project service automation?
That's a good question. So it's part of that plan. So it doesn't necessarily replace it today, but in the next, maybe 3 years, Microsoft hasn't given a definitive timeline. The capabilities of Project Online and the capabilities of the project service automation are going to merge into Project for the Web. So Project for the Web is going to continuously get new capabilities that will eventually replace capabilities in both of those products. All right, so here you can see I'm in initiation gate approval. I'm going to go ahead and approve it. And if I refresh this page, we should see it progress in a second. There we go. So now you can see it's moved out of that initiation phase. Now we're into planning. And then also, as I go through that, now additional capabilities are lit up within Project Online. So now I have an issue log, a risk log, change request, document management. Okay, so let's go into the project schedule. And what I'm going to do is staff our project. So as I mentioned, during when we were in the Power App and we were doing our project intake process, I said this is going to be an IS project or an IT project. And by saying that, I'm picking a particular project type that's been standardized. So this is a good example of that. So this project has a schedule template. It also has pre-assigned resources. So these are generic resources, role-based resources. So if I want to staff this project with actual named resources, up here on the ribbon, just go to build a team. And this will open up the resource pool. So on the right-hand side are the resources that I already have on my project. But over here on the left-hand side, it's who are the resources that are available to me in the resource pool. So I'm just going to quickly grab several resources. I'll grab my resource as well. And I'm going to do a save and close. Now I could have done a replace and some more fancy things there, but we don't have enough time for all that. So I'm just going to keep it pretty simple here. And then what we're going to do is go into our schedule. And now I'm going to go ahead and assign those resources to these tasks. So I'm going to assign some of these to Pika, some of these to me. and maybe some of these to match. All right, now for the planner integration that I'm going to show you, that's part of the Teams and planner integration that I'm doing through Power Automate. So here you'll see there's a planner sync option in the schedule. And basically what this is saying is, do I want to synchronize this task in Microsoft Project or Project Online to Planner? Again, Planner's interface is very simple, very easy to use, but it doesn't give you all the capabilities like you're seeing here in Project Online. So by doing this synchronization, we get a little bit of both worlds, right? We get the simplicity of Planner, but we get the robust resource management and reporting capabilities and schedule management that Project Online gives us. So here I'm just going to go ahead and say yes to these tasks. And then the other thing I'm going to do, whoops, there we go, is I'm going to specify which planner bucket do I want it to go into. So in this case, I have some project phase names set up, so I'm going to use those for my planner buckets. Planner buckets are just a way for you to organize the tasks within Planner, and you'll see them when I synchronize this. Okay. All right, so now that I've set up my schedule, I'm going to go ahead and publish these changes. And again, it's already built the Microsoft team, but it's also going to now add these resources as team members on that Microsoft team. It's also going to synchronize all these tasks that I said yes to over into Planner inside that Microsoft team. So again, a lot of automation that we're doing here. While we're waiting for that, as you can see up here, we can also do things with the Power Platform, such as extending Project Online. This is a cost tracker app that we've built where a customer can manage their project budgets, their purchase orders, their invoices, and it's all built on top of the Power Platform. All right. Again, I'm not going to go into all of this, but as I said, things that we probably 5 years ago would have been very difficult or a lot of custom coding to do to support a PMO. We can leverage the Power Platform, no code, build out these solutions and add additional functionality to Project Online. Let me check this in. And I'm going to go over here to Teams. And if we scroll down here, you can see there's our team for our second project. So this is the one that went through the Canvas app. We approved it. It created the project over in Project Online. And now we have the Microsoft team. So when I open this up, you'll see it automatically added several different tabs within the team. One to view the project schedule. So when I go into here, I can see there's that project schedule that we had just been building out. And if I want to see the Gantt view. What's great about this is because we're combining Teams and Project Online capability, the project team can basically spend their day working out of Microsoft Teams. They can see, what the schedule looks like. They can see what task are they supposed to be working on. They can collaborate on documents, whatever else, we might need to do. And then for the PM, they could still edit the project right here in the browser or maybe edit it in Microsoft Project. So again, instead of spending their time over in Project Online, they could just work out of Microsoft Teams on a daily basis. And then we have our project documents document library. So this is for the SharePoint site that got created for that particular project. And then we have an issue log, a risk log, and then we have Planner. So you can see our tasks have been synchronized over to Planner. You can see that they've landed into the different buckets that I've specified. You can see who it's been assigned to. So those resources that were in my project over in Project Online, they were automatically added again, through Power Automate, automatically added to the Microsoft team. So the PM didn't have to add them manually or anything. It just knows that they're working on the project. Let's put them in there. And if I flip my view around, I can see who they're assigned to. And if I go to progress, it'll show me a Kanban board view. And here you can see Deepika's showing off. She's already completed some of the tasks that I've given her. But if I want to do my updates, I can just drag and drop. And that's the beauty of Planner, is it is a very simple interface. It's easy to go into here, get an idea of what you're supposed to be working on or what your teammates are supposed to be working on. And you can just drag and drop and do updates this way. Now, if I go back to the Post tab within Teams, so you can see here, Deepika got notified that she was added to the team. She also got notified that she had tasks assigned to her. With Power Automate, we also pushed out a little mini status report into the team just to show what the current status of the project is. I know you've been working on them while we talk. There we go. But you know, the other part of this too is when we're doing these task updates, as a PM, how do I pull those updates back into my project schedule, right? So we can easily do that because we added a button here on the ribbon that fires off another Power Automate flow. It basically goes out and it gets those updates and it updates the schedule inside of Project Online. So when I click on this, you can see it scheduled that job. It's going to take a minute or so, but let me go back to Planner real quick. If we go down to progress, what's going to happen when it pulls those updates in is it's going to mark any of the tasks that we have set to complete as 100% complete within the Microsoft project schedule. Anything that's been in progress, it's going to mark it as 50% complete. All right, just to show that it started, but it's not completed yet. And that's an arbitrary number. You know, you'd be able to set it to whatever you're comfortable with. And of course, anything that hasn't been started yet is going to stay at 0% complete. So if I go back to the schedule here, looks like it's still updating. So come back to this in a second. There we go. So here you can see in our schedule, the tasks that Deepika had marked as completed are all 100% complete. She still has one that she hasn't started yet. And then the ones that I marked as started or completed also got updated in the project schedule. All right. So everything that I'm doing here is leveraging the Power Platform to do all these automations, all these integrations, you know, between the different platforms. And it saves a lot of time, you know, obviously for the PMs. It also helps standardize a lot of your processes to make sure that everybody's, you know, following the methodology that you would like to use for your project management. And, you know, the beauty of it is it's not custom code. You know, we're leveraging the capabilities in the Power Platform. So you're using that no code, low code capability to do these types of integrations. Let me know if you guys have any questions so far. And what I'm going to do, if we don't have any questions, is I'm going to go into some of those flows, just kind of give you guys an idea of what they might look like. So for example, here's the Teams and Planner integration. I'm not going to go into detail of exactly, but it kind of gives you an idea of, you know, if you're familiar with Flow, you should get the hang of some of the things we're doing here. But if you've never looked at Flow or Power Automate, again, it's very graphical, fairly easy to set up. As you get into more complicated automations, yeah, there's going to be a learning curve, and you know, you will have to learn exactly how to do some things, but it's pretty robust and pretty easy to use capability. So Here you can see it's monitoring for an event. So when a project gets created in that particular project online site, it sets up some different variables. It communicates with the Microsoft Graph. So you can see some of the settings here for that. And then as we go through here, we communicate with PWA. So if you hear the term PWA, they're just talking about Project Online. It's called Project Web App, like Outlook Web App. It's the Project Online interface. So here we're communicating with PWA to get information about that particular project that just got created. And then when we go down further here, we have some conditions to see whether or not a Microsoft team needs to be created for that particular project type. And then we start working on building out the team. So we find out, what's the ID of the project owner, the Active Directory ID. We create an Office 365 group. We make the project owner a member. The project manager becomes a member of that team. We create a planner plan. We create the buckets, create the team. So again, as you go through this, we're stepping through that automation and then creating everything that needs to be created within it. As we get in further here, you get into creating all the different tabs within the team. Okay. So again, it's pretty robust way to do a lot of automations for the PMO. Jason, we have any other questions yet?
Yes. Is there reporting available?
There is. So Power BI. So let me go back here. Power BI is really the preferred reporting platform for this. In particular, I'm looking at it for Project Online, but you could also use Power BI for the project for the web capability as well. So if I open up a Power BI dashboard, drill down into some of the sub-reports, and what we're looking at here, this is a Power BI content pack that Microsoft makes available, free to install for any customers. And you'll have a set of, I think it's about 11 different reports that you could use. So here we have a portfolio dashboard where I can go in, drill down, for example, what are all the projects that are in the planning phase? Or maybe I want to use some of these slicers up here. I just want to see the IT projects. And that's really, part of the beauty of Project Online, Project for the Web, is all that project information, all your resource information, timesheets, all that information is being stored in a central database that Power BI can then connect to, and then you can start building Power BI reports on it. And again, this is a starter pack that Microsoft provides, so you could use these to get started and modify them based on your needs. And that's really, for Marquee 360, that's one of the primary things that we do. We work with PMOs, help them get Project Online or Project for the Web up and running and configured for their needs. And then also with Power BI, let's set it up so that we can get the reporting that you need. So these are resource reports, because again, we have that centralized resource pool. We can see everything that resource might be working on, what their workload's looking like, what their capacity is. That's that line that you see here. And then the bars are showing how much work. Project status reports, which is a big one. A lot of PMs spend a lot of time pulling data together manually, cut and pasting, updating Excel spreadsheets. That all still happens today. But again, if you have everything in Project Online, Project for the Web, then we can have an automated project status report as well. Okay. Any other questions so far?
Nothing else just yet.
Okay. I guess I went a little fast. I got still 5 more minutes. So feel free to shoot away if you guys have any questions.
Any questions at all? This is anonymous, so don't be shy.
And Jason, you guys are recording the sessions, correct?
Correct. Yep.
So these will be available later on.
Yeah, we're going to reach out to the speakers just to make sure we get permission, and we set up a YouTube channel, and we'll be posting them out there.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, everybody. Hopefully this showed you some of the capabilities of the Power Platform and how you can integrate a lot of these different Microsoft services together. As I mentioned, my organization's name is Marquee 360. Feel free to reach out to us. There's my email. So if you have any other questions, don't be shy. Feel free to reach out, ask away, and anything we can do to help you guys with your project management needs, just let us know.
All right. Thanks a lot, Neil. That was great. Oh,
yep.
Good.
And there's the QR codes for our speaker feedback. So please let us know how we did, good and bad, and hopefully it's mostly good. All right.